All right, folks, look, I've been following this breaking news story all day since it occurred, and I have some major updates for you, including MAGA's reaction to the tragedy and Donald Trump and the moves he's making and his response to what happened today. So just to give you a brief rundown, earlier, and again, tragically, 2 National Guard members were shot in Washington, D.C. in what is being described as a targeted attack. Right now, their condition is critical. We don't know if they're alive. We are still getting reports on that, conflicting reports, but I have a lot to talk about with you right now on this story. And let me just preface this by saying MAGA is already using this to attack people and their rights, attack DC, and attack Democrats generally. So before we get into any of this, make sure to subscribe down below, drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about the story, let me know what you are seeing online in regards to the discourse surrounding the story, and let's get into it. So first and foremost, we have to start with what the West Virginia governor has been saying about the matter. He is the governor of the state of which these National Guard members came from, were originally based, and then moved to DC. And he himself, the governor, irresponsibly has put out 2 different conflicting reports. Earlier, he said it's with great sorrow that we can confirm both members of the West Virginia National Guard who were shot earlier today in DC have passed away from their injuries. These brave West Virginians lost their lives in their service of their country. We are in ongoing contact with the federal officials as the investigation continues. Our entire state grieves with their families, their loved ones, and the Guard community. So he is saying that the National Guards has sadly lost their lives. But shortly after that, he put out another statement saying we're now receiving conflicting reports about the condition of our 2 Guard members and will provide additional updates once we receive more complete information, meaning that they are in critical condition, and this has been confirmed by law enforcement. It is incredibly irresponsible and, quite frankly, pretty gross that the governor of the state, who's in a position of authority, is putting out this information without definitively knowing what the status of these National Guard members are. He's just kind of putting out statements and had to walk it back, just creating a lot of confusion unnecessarily. But here's some more on the investigation so far. 3 law enforcement sources believe this may have been a targeted attack. The victims were wearing National Guardsmen wearing fatigues. One was shot in the head. This will be an FBI case because it involves federal officers. So they were wearing fatigues. One was shot in the head, unfortunately, and law enforcement for now believes it's a targeted attack. I will keep you updated on that. Of course, I just wanted to show you as well the approximate location of the shooting. If you've been to DC, you know how kind of scary this is. The White House is right there. And then in front of the White House is Lafayette Park. It is 1600 Pennsylvania Ave is right in front of the White House. And this is not very far. I mean, I've walked in DC around that area many times. Too many to count on a hand, but I've been in this exact area. I'm sure many of you have been too. So it's a pretty scary thing to see, but that is where the shooting occurred. Now, let's get into the Trump regime's response, because I think things are about to get even worse. Trump put on Truth Social that the animal that shot the 2 National Guardsmen, with both being critically wounded and now in 2 separate hospitals, is also severely wounded, but regardless, will pay a very steep price. God bless our great National Guard and all of our military and law enforcement. These are truly great people. I, as President of the United States, and everyone associated with the office of the presidency, am with you. So I don't have any problem with this statement. I mean, you know, saying that the perpetrator is going to face a steep price, you'd certainly hope so. I'm glad that the perpetrator is in custody. They've been in custody since the shooting. I believe they got him pretty quickly. So no problem with that. But what follows is what I'm nervous about. Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of the Department of Defense, put out this statement, or I should say spoke to reporters today, gave a statement, and he confirmed what they're planning on doing next in regards to DC, and I think you can probably predict where they're going with this. Just take a listen. We won't watch the whole thing because you don't need to hear from Pete Hegseth, but have a listen.
Very productive meetings, but I want to start by saying after those meetings, myself and my team were notified that 2 National Guardsmen have been shot in Washington, D.C., critically wounded. The shooter shot in a cowardly, dastardly act targeting the best of America. Heroes willing to serve in Washington, D.C., serve for people they don't know and they've never met because they love their country and their capital and their community. They were willing to do dangerous things others were not because they love their fellow Americans. Someone decided to turn that into targeting National Guardsmen. That will only stiffen our resolve. We will never back down. We will secure our capital. We will secure our cities. In fact, this happened just steps away from the White House. It will not stand. And that's why President Trump has asked me, and I will ask the Secretary of the Army to the National Guard, to add 500 additional troops, National Guardsmen, to Washington, D.C. This will only stiffen our resolve.
So you heard him there. The White House, Donald Trump, is deploying an additional 500 additional National Guard troops to Washington, D.C. Hegseth, of course, said it was cowardly and dastardly, which is a good description of the shooter and the shooting generally. But I'm nervous that the Trump regime is going to use this shooting and politicize it and use it as an excuse to flood more Democratic cities with more National Guard's troops, which obviously have its own repercussions. I mean, if Donald Trump didn't behave in this way, perhaps these National Guard troops would still be alive today. And yet he and Pete Hegseth are already politicizing it. And I think that they are using this as a launching pad for what they've always wanted, which is having National Guard troops in every single city. I think that's what they're doing. And I think this is the beginning of it, the additional 500 National Guard troops. And let's just go through the new updates we're getting from the New York Times, which is, Kash Patel said they were shot, but are thankfully not dead. They're in critical condition. This is, of course, where the shooting was. Jeffrey Carroll, the executive assistant chief of the Washington Metropolitan Police Department, said the suspect in the shooting came around a corner, raised his gun, and fired at the guardsman. The mayor of Washington, D.C., Muriel Bowser, called the attack a targeted shooting. Local police officials said that so far the shooting appeared to be the work of a lone gunman. So we don't believe that there are many people involved in it. At least it's one person. Chief Carroll of the Washington Police Department also said that the National Guard members who were shot were armed at the time of the attack. He said it was unclear who shot the suspect. They're still trying to figure all the specifics out. But as I mentioned, there's not just a MAGA response or a Trump response from the government, which is flooding DC with more National Guard troops, but MAGA is also trying to politicize the tragedy. Benny Johnson, for example, said just a few days ago, 6 Democrats claimed Trump was issuing unlawful orders to the military and that troops must resist. 2 National Guard members were just targeted and shot in Washington, D.C. So he's trying to blame Democrats for the shooting. I mean, it is sickening what these Republicans are willing to do to score political points. We don't know anything about the shooter. We don't know anything about the shooting. I've given you all the information we have for now. We don't know anything about the shooter's motive. We have no idea what took place. We are just learning specific details now of how the shooter did it, what corner they came around, and things like that. And MAGA Republicans, these huge influencers, are trying to spread conspiracy theories about it, point fingers at Democrats for it, when in reality, that is incredibly irresponsible, incredibly dangerous, and it just goes to show you that a lot of these MAGA guys, they don't care about these tragedies. They care about views and clicks and scoring political points in favor of their side. And this idea that Democrats telling the military to not follow illegal orders somehow played into this is gross. It is gross. We don't even know if they're alive. Their families just got this devastating news right before Thanksgiving. They know as much as we do, probably, on their condition. And MAGA is out there spreading conspiracy theories about their family members who were just shot. Their grief is no easier by when people like Benny Johnson get online and spread crap like this. And it's not just Benny Johnson. It's also Kash Patel's girlfriend, who he's been flying around on these private jets that are paid for by us and using the SWAT teams to defend her.